We in the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Yeah, I'm in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. Izzle on it, only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom. Gemstones on your head. Tub with the OG like Flintstones, good in bed. Rob living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, dog, you might got something to pray. This type of influence that you ain't gotta filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob. Come let the heat rock simmer.
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of In the Studio with me, Rob.
Nah, it's not even the title.
Yo.
Not the title.
So, we here once again with my man, Izzle. What's up, young fella?
Here.
How's it going?
Feeling good, feeling great, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Hey, we on, rolling into our episode 34. Big numbers now. Hey, so I appreciate you guys that's listening. I want to tell you to keep listening and share everything with other people, all right? Just keep it going. Good information we're trying to put out. Hey, with that said, one of the things that we're going to talk about today, or the thing that we're going to talk about today, is something that people are struggling with. Mm-hmm. Accountability. And I say struggling with
trigger warning.
Yeah.
Trigger warning.
Yeah, because what happens is people, say the word, but don't really want to take accountability for the actions or for what they've done and the things that they've caused, the hurt they've caused, or even some of the good things. I think that's the problem sometimes too. So let me clear this up. Taking accountability does not mean you always messed up and you got to take accountability. Sometimes there's accountability for good stuff. But what you have to do is get into the habit, into a routine of, if I say it, if I do it, then I own it. And if I own it, good or bad, I will deal with whatever the repercussions of that is. But I think what happens too many times is we automatically look at accountability as a negative, so people run from it. But it's funny how if you are, you dating this girl, right? Let's say you're dating a girl. And so you pick a restaurant for y'all to go out to. She love it. You like, yo, I picked this bomb spot for my girl, man. She was loving that joint. What you're doing is taking accountability for that, which is cool. But let's say in the reverse happens. You take her out, you take her to a restaurant. She don't like it. You don't even really like it, but either way. But what happens is, what you'll do, instead of saying, you'll look at, well, I spent all this money on this place and she ain't even appreciate it. It was a bad place. I don't care how much money you spent. But you want to take accountability when it's great, but when it's bad, all of a sudden you want to make excuses or blame other people for certain things happening. Accountability doesn't do that. I take accountability for the good and the bad, and I'm going to own that. So I'm going to just give you a quick, basically what accountability is. It's the state of being answerable or responsible for one's actions and their outcomes. Now, that does not say bad. That does not say good. It says for your actions and their outcomes, good or bad, you are answerable to those. You take responsibility for those. That's all it really means. And I think that when you are, taking accountability for things and you kind of answer into that, if you understand that everything's not going to go right. I'm not always going to make the best decisions. I'm not always going to respond to someone in the best way.
You're speaking for yourself, right?
I'm speaking for me. Because I know you, on the other hand, always make the right choices. I'm speaking just for me. Because I know Izzle doesn't make any mistakes. He's always, he's the guy that does it right. Except for, I ain't gonna name those times. But anyway.
I saw that you drew a blank
immediately. Well, I didn't want to put your business out on the street, like that. I'm
the blank business.
So I'm just gonna move forward.
Please.
So Accountability is about taking ownership of your actions, learning from your actions, and building a stronger connection along the way. So, what is it? What am I taking? I think the piece that we miss sometimes is the learning from our actions. Just because you make a decision or you respond in a way that wasn't positive does not mean you shouldn't or you can't learn from it. And if you look at every situation in life as learning situations, then you don't necessarily feel as bad about taking responsibility for them. Because when I did whatever dumb thing I did over the years, if I learned from it, then it was worth it. Now, I have to take ownership. I made the wrong choice. I yelled at this person, or I fought this person. I did these things to these people off of a reaction. But over time, I've learned, that's not how you respond to people. That's not how you treat people when you get upset. So I'm learning from those interactions. So it's not a bad thing. So I can own that. But if all I'm doing is repeating bad habits, it's hard for me to take accountability because I never want to think I'm ever doing anything wrong. Like my man sitting to my right over here. So if you never do anything wrong, in your mind, you really taking accountability for when it does happen, it's going to be a struggle for you. I'm just saying.
I'm going to make a note so we can come back to this in a little
bit. Yeah, we can do that. So what I want you to get is that you should make sure that, one, you're not afraid to take ownership or accountability over something just because you think it went wrong. Just own it, man. Just be with. See, part of what you have to understand is when you are accountable, you have to recognize whatever the situation was. That's the first thing. You have to recognize this is what happened. And I think a lot of people even struggle with just recognizing that it didn't go the way we thought it would. But you recognize that this is how it happened. And then you want to make sure, once I recognize it, now I can own that. I own the mistake. I own the good, the bad, whatever happened. I own that. I'm going to own that. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not trying to shift it off on this person. I'm not going to blame it on the weather or like Milli Vanilli, I ain't blaming on the rain. This was all me. Blame on the rain. I'm not doing that. I'm going to look at it and say, okay, this is me. So I'm owning that. Now, if it was a case where someone got hurt or, not physically or it could be physically, but in most cases, if I offended someone, then again, I need to show some remorse for that. See, people always talk about showing, a lot of people take accountability in words, in the term, I'll take responsibility for that or I'll own that. But then part of it, after you've done that, you got to show some remorse for what you've done. For remorse for the person or the people that you've offended or hurt. And then you have to go even a step further. How do you repair or fix the situation? You can't just be like, well, it's done now, I just move on. No, fix it. You got to go through the whole part of being accountable, not just the word of being accountable. Fix what you've done. Own it. Be a man, be a woman, be strong about yours. You be like, when you really at somebody, you be like standing tall on, whatever, it's about that, I'm about that. But then as soon as it go wrong, you don't want to be like, yo, I can fix this. It didn't turn out the way I had hoped. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to fix it so that going forward, I'm not making the same mistakes over and over and over again. I'm not offending the same people over and over and over again in the same way. I got to own those things. I got to fix or repair the problems that I create from my actions. I think one of the things of problems that we have sometimes is that people don't really think critically about what could happen. In most cases, they you got to think about what's the worst thing that could happen, or what's the best that could happen. Don't just stop at, oh, if I do this, just one thing could happen. It's a whole lot of things that could happen. And when you start thinking about the worst that could happen or the best that can happen, then you are more likely to make a better decision. So even with that, your accountability is easier to take because you figure, look, I put everything I had into making this decision. I thought about it on both sides, the good, the bad, the ugly. I did it all in my reasoning. But now it's I can live with the situation, or I'm willing to accept the consequences because I thought them through. But the problem is you're not thinking it through. You're like, yo, if I don't pay this bill, hey, I'll get them next time. No, if you don't pay that bill, your lights might go off. Your kids may be in the summertime in 90-degree outside. That means it's 140 in your house and y'all ain't got no air. You have to think more than just, I'm going to take a shortcut. Oh, I ain't going to get my car inspected this week or this time. I'll wait a couple of months. But if you get stopped, now you got to pay, not only get your car inspected if they don't take it from you and tow and all that other stuff, but you got to pay the fines and still got to get your car inspected. So you taking a shortcut just added more to the problems that you have. Because you don't want to be accountable and don't want to take responsibility for the things that's going on. And then you want to say to man, oh man, they always out to get a brother. The sister always, she's just trying to get by and they could have let us slide. No, you got to do what you're supposed to do.
They do be out to get us though.
Look, and let me tell y'all something. Man, when I was younger, I had a little hoopty and, I was my car though, I got me around. I had bad tags. I had, I had the bad inspection. You could buy an inspection stick. I bought it. It was $75, and I didn't want to pay to get everything else done on a car that needed to be done. And I was just living foul. I didn't have no insurance. And what happened? It was funny because Philadelphia had what they call. They was like, I guess, going through and kind of clean up the streets as far as cars and people not having registered cars. And I would always hide my car here, there, moving around. You think they coming, you trying to play the game. Came out one morning, car was gone. Mm-hmm. And it was, the thing that got me was the shortcuts I was trying to make, they caught up with me. And I not only didn't have my car, but I couldn't afford to go get it. And in reality, it cost more to get it out than it was probably worth. But I don't have no car. So the thing that I was trying to avoid, I'm now stuck with. I got no car. I got to get to work. I got to take the bus. I got to, get there however I can. But because I try to take shortcuts, I'm not taking responsibility for the fact that I don't make enough money. No, I made enough money. I didn't manage my money well. That was on me. But I was trying to blame everybody else. No accountability on me. They don't pay me enough to be able to do this, that, and the other. I got to do this. I got to make sure the kids got this. No, you got enough. You're wasting more than you paying attention to. Or you do what you want to do, but not what you have to do. Because I didn't want to take accountability. I didn't want to be responsible for those things that I thought were insignificant until now I ain't got no car. So now I got to go and really, I got to dig deep and catch the bus. I got to move. I'm moving a lot slower in the city because I can't get around like I wanted to or like I was used to. But that was on me. But I was blaming everybody else for it. The situation of life. Everybody got situations going on in life. You can't blame nobody else. You got to own that thing. You got to take accountability, but you also have to fix when you find things that you offend or you do things wrong. Fix it and move forward, man. Nobody ain't never taken another car from me. My stuff stayed paid up. From then on.
You learned your lesson.
I learned, and look, part of learning that lesson was telling my wife, hey, here go the money. You can make sure all the bills paid. Because I'm not that dude. I'm not detailed enough in those areas. She is. But because of, again, ego and all other stuff, you try to do things outside your wheelhouse. But never had that issue again.
Wait, that happened when you were married?
Right after we got married, shortly after that, yeah.
And which car was that?
So,
Which car was that?
My Hyundai.
Oh, snap. That's what happened to that joint?
Yeah, it got told, man. It wasn't right.
Wait, what happened? What she said?
She kind of laughed at me more than anything else, but it is what it is. But like I said, it's just one of them things where, again, people, we got to make sure we are owning the situation and moving, learning from it and moving on. Don't just stay stuck in dumb.
How did you own it to me? Like, what did I think happened to that car all this time?
I don't know. I don't know what I mean, y'all young. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, again, I was living in dumb. I was living in dumb. Living in dumb. That's what I was doing. And it's just like, it's so easy to get caught up in shortcuts. But we never think what's going to happen when them shortcuts come back and bite you in the butt. And they usually do. Just handle your business. Do what you need to do. And then let the rest play out. If you're trying to do right, there's going to be times even trying to do right, things are going to go wrong. And that's fine. But I guarantee you it's easier to live with that than it is when you say, oh man, I got caught doing stupid.
Doing stupid.
That's terrible, man. That's like the worst feeling in the world. You got caught and you like, I know I shouldn't have did that.
Hate to see it.
That's like, it's like, how do you even...
No, when you like that, I didn't even need to do this. Like, I could have not.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't even want to all the way.
You knew all the reasons why not to do it, and you did it anyway, and you get caught, and you like, I don't even know what to say to myself. I'm so mad at myself. But at the same time, because we don't want to take accountability or responsibility for something, we still look for somebody else to blame. Oh man, I was gonna do it, man. They could have waited, or if they wasn't all picky on this little dumb, they got all this other stuff going on. Why they ain't worrying about that instead of me? Nah, bruh, it's all me. Living in dumb, living in dumb. So, like I said, we got to learn how to own these things, man. Take responsibility for what you're doing. Don't just always look to blame other people for the mistakes or the decisions that you make. It's not her fault that you got a child out of wedlock. That's you, bruh. Because you can protect yourself. Baby girl, it is not his fault that you got a child out of wedlock. You can protect yourself. And if you keep getting in these bad relationships over and over and over again, sometimes you need to stop calling the man a dog or the girl a slut or whatever name you want to call her, and start looking at you. Why are you choosing these bad people?
I don't think anybody says that anymore.
I know I ain't want to say nothing else, but What I'm saying, you gotta make sure, bruh, the decisions you make, the people you invite into your life, they are your decisions. Stop blame. You can't even blame them. Look, I've been in, and I'm not talking about me personally, but I'm just like, if you keep saying you've been in, this year alone, I've been in 3 relationships and they've been terrible. This guy cheated on me, this guy, and this guy don't pay this, and it's like,
maybe it's you, Angela.
Why you keep getting in relationships with people that aren't worthy of you? Or are they worthy of you and you just haven't, so you need to step your game up? Meaning you have to become more so you stop attracting trash.
It's your fault, Angela.
So, and the same thing, bruh. You keep going through woman after woman after woman, and then you like, these women ain't right out here, man. I can't find no good girl. well, maybe you need to check where you finding them at.
You're not a good man, Byron.
Bruh, if you ain't got no job, if you living with your mama or your daddy in their basement, if you ain't got no money, if you don't have anything, what type of woman you think you gonna attract?
Bums like you, Byron.
Bruh, ain't no good women looking for that. And the same thing, ladies. If you want a brother that's gonna be taking, that's like, oh, he got paper to, he can do this, he got a nice car, he drive. He's not trying to come into the hood and get you out. He may come into the hood, but it's for a short stay. He passing through. Gonna hit it and keep going.
Not a long time.
But you gotta understand, you gotta raise yourself up. Take responsibility and accountability for your own life first. And then you will see where you're going wrong with the attraction piece. Everybody you meet, a crackhead, okay, where are you hanging out?
It's a crack den, Lisa.
So you gotta check yourself. This is accountability, people. I'm accountable for the people I pull into my world or let into my world.
Especially crackheads.
And I'm not saying that every once in a while, or there'll be times where somebody might not play a role. But if you take your time, you figure them out pretty quick. But the problem is, in most cases, you're attracting what you are.
Crack.
You're attracting what you are. You low rate, low budget, and you wondering why you getting nothing but low rate and low budget. Because that's all that's down there. If you want a brother that's, again, taking care of his business, handling his business, then you need to be handling yours. And put yourself in the area of where they are, men and women. But you can't keep saying it's everybody else. You can't blame society for everything. Sometimes it's just simple as you need to get better. You need to improve your life. You need to improve how you judge relationships and what you want out of a relationship. You need to do better. And then if you start doing better, you will see that better people start coming into your life. I can't get mad if all the women I'm meeting, drunks, if I'm sitting in the bar all the time. Well, they're going to be, they sitting in the bar drinking. I'm sitting in the bar drinking, so that's what I keep meeting. That's on me. So why am I mad about it? This is who I keep pulling. This is where I am. So change your environment, change your attitude, your perception on what your life can be. Upgrade it. And then you will get upgraded people. Now, don't get me wrong. Not all upgraded people good either. You're going to still have to judge a character. But at least you're starting off at a higher level. So you got to make sure, people, that y'all are really taking accountability for what you are bringing into your world or letting into your world. And stop blaming everybody else that came in and out of it and trashed it. Look, they threw paper on the floor because there's paper already on the floor. Y'all ever been, Texas Roadhouse back in, a few years ago, and I think they stopped doing it because somebody fell on it. But they used to have pecans or peanuts or whatever on the floor, the shells. And so you eat the peanut and you drop it on the floor. And I'm like, when I first saw that, I was like, why are people throwing stuff on the floor? But that's what they did there. So everybody did it. It wasn't a bad thing for them. That's what they wanted you to do or whatever. So you did it until somebody fell. But I'm thinking it's the same thing in your life. If your house is trashy, don't be surprised when somebody come in there and throw trash on the floor. Clean up, people. If they come in your house and your house is clean, people will respect your house. But if you don't respect your house, nobody else will. And when I say house, I'm not talking about just the physical, the building, but I'm also talking about you. If you don't respect you, nobody else will. And so you have to take ownership of that. I need to do better for me. And then I will see other people treat me better. You got to be better, man. You got to take ownership of yourself and accountability for your own actions. It is not your mama's fault no more. It is not your daddy's fault no more. You're a grown up. So these are your actions and your responsibility for. You can't forever stay in therapy talking about what you didn't have when you was a kid. At some point, the therapist should be asking you, what are you doing? And if all y'all doing in therapy for 2 and 3 years is still talking about what you went through as a kid, they just taking your money.
Or you had really, 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 really terrible parents.
They just taking your money. It don't even matter. If your parents was terrible, move on. At some point, I need to fix me. I can't keep talking about them.
And when I was 6.5, they finally let me out of the basement.
That's right. And when you came out of that basement, you should have been running. Let's go. I'm out. But you got to change, people. You take ownership of what's going on in your life right now. Right now. Your accountability for your actions. You are responsible for your actions. Own it. Treat people better. Treat yourself better.
That was very inspirational. That made me want to go vote.
Hey, if you ain't voting, then you get what you get. See what we got. So, but like I said, I just want y'all to really, pay attention to what you're doing, and don't be afraid of being accountable. Brothers, we are accountable. I'm responsible for everything that goes on in my life, in my life, and in my family. I own that. I'm okay with that. It's my responsibility to make sure my wife is taken care of. I own that. Y'all need to own that too, brothers. Take care of the people that's in your environment. And you'll see things start changing once you start taking accountability and responsibility for things. All right,
I'm not gonna lie, man. Accountability is... Well, I guess accountability is fine, but the idea of doing something wrong, that has to be a lot of pressure on you guys.
Yeah, I know you can't relate to us.
Right, no, I can't. That's why I was, I guess, more or less pretty quiet.
Yeah.
So trying to let you guys who are more experienced do your thing. But I feel for you. Not gonna lie, you have my, I guess not empathy, because I still can't feel it for myself, but my sympathy. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm rooting for you. I hope you guys can be accountable for your wrongdoings. I guess I'm definitely accountable, but I'm on the other side.
Yeah, on the good stuff.
Not only the good stuff. It's just, it's a coincidence more or less, because there's only good stuff that I can be accountable.
Right, because that's the only thing that you do.
Good and to great.
To great. Okay.
See,
perfect. So since all of us aren't like Israel,
right,
we are going to be accountable for everything, the good and the bad.
Well, you wouldn't try to be. It doesn't sound like you guys. We sound like you struggle.
No, we doing that.
Oh, okay.
That's what we do. We're accountability for everything. We speaking it into existence. So people, be accountable. Don't be afraid of accountability. Own your mistakes. Own your good and your bad. Fix your bad. That's all. Just fix it. Once you acknowledge it, let's own it. And, show some remorse for those that you affected or offended, and then fix it. That's it, man. It ain't that deep.
You'll be a little closer to being like me.
A little closer to being like him, if that's where you want to be. But so Israel, anything from the people other than, not just you, because we talking about the people, because everybody ain't like you. So anything for the people before we get up out of here?
Nah, you covered it. That was, like I said, that was pretty inspirational. You guys, you gotta strive to be better, and part of being better is admitting that you're not that good to begin with. So do what you gotta do, the work. Hit the ground running, I guess. Elbow grease, all that. mental elbow grease. I guess emotional elbow
Right,
grease.
right.
You know, recognize your flaws.
Yeah. So we're gonna cut Israel off right now because he can't really relate to this topic. So we're gonna
I tried.
So
I tried.
you know, for the rest of us, we're gonna do better. All right. And I'm with you.
Oh wait, I got one. I got a good one.
He got a good one. Okay, what you got?
Start with the man in the mirror.
Thank you, Michael.
Tell him to change his ways.
Right.
And so on and so forth.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. So we will, and for you, I'm telling you guys, you will see so much change in your life when you start owning where you are and what you're doing and what you're going through, and you start. Once you acknowledge it, you'll see that you want to change it. Don't run from it. That's all I'm saying. Don't run from where you are or what you're doing. Acknowledge it and deal with it. Take accountability for what you're doing and what's coming in your life. That's all. It ain't that deep. It's difficult to do, but the issue ain't that deep.
Could have been any clearer
So, make it clear.
if you want to make the world a better place.
We ain't talking about the world. We're going to make you a better
Take a
person.
look at yourself.
Look at you
Change.
and make a change. And that's all we got. All right? So, Izzo, before we get up out of here, what you want to tell the people, bro?
People, please, we appreciate and acknowledge your support.
We do.
What we would like you to do.
We do.
Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend.
Tell them.
And then tell one more friend.
And
To like and subscribe.
there you go. Like and subscribe. Don't just subscribe, but also give us some likes. You know, it's cool. Don't just listen.
No, don't.
But listen, like, love, all that good
Listen
stuff.
and love.
And give us some comments. We cool with the comments.
No, talk to us. We'll talk back.
Yo.
We will talk back.
I'm gonna tell y'all, man. One thing about us, we not like shy away from comments or concerns, issues, what you disagree. I'm cool if you don't agree with everything I say. I'm cool with that. You don't have to. I'm just sharing some stuff. But if you want to comment, feel free. We'll respond to you. It's all good.
All right. Well, he's definitely speaking for himself again.
Yeah,
don't disagree with me. Agree with me, like comment, but like agree with me.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want the comment to be. Hey, I agree with you, fam. And then I'm a comment like, yo, I agree with me too. So really, I agree with you, and we both agree with me.
Yeah. So that's where he's going. But I'm like, any comment you want, I'm with it. I can take it. So feel free to come on with it. So again, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Hit us up in the comments.
Please and thank you.
Check us out on Instagram and all the podcast locations.
Wherever you get your
YouTube,
podcasts.
all that stuff. We got it. All right. So we will holler at y'all soon. I appreciate you guys for tuning in.
We
Until
gotta
next
get
time,
outta here.
we out. Peace.
Bye.
Studio. We in the studio. We in the studio. We Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. We Rob in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Catch a vibe. Yeah, I'm in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. His alone and only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom. Gemstones on your head. Good with the OG like Flintstones. Good in bed. Been living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, dog, you might got something to pray. This type of influence that you ain't gotta filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob. Come let the heat rock simmer.